My name is Andre Theodore, and I am going to show you how to install and configure Windows Server 2008 as well as Windows Server 2008 Era 2. But before we get into all of that, we need to do all of this installing in a virtual environment. So this tutorial will be on firstly installing VirtualBox, because VirtualBox is going to provide that virtual environment for us to install Windows Server, Windows 7 and Windows XP, whichever operating system we need for these tasks. So now let's go to our browser, and in the text box of our search engine, start typing VirtualBox, and you could go straight to this one that says www.virtualbox.org, and here is the home page, and it says VirtualBox is a powerful x86 and AMD 64 Intel 64 virtualization product. We don't have to get into all of this. We can go straight to downloads, and here you see the different versions of Windows, OS X, Linux. Of course, you want to choose the one for Windows. Here this is the latest release of VirtualBox. Here it says 4.3.20, and if for some reason you download and install this version and you're having trouble with the ISOs and you're only getting errors and it's crashing, you could always come right back to this website here, and when you click in the download link like we just did, you can come down to the VirtualBox older builds and click on this link here, and here you would see the older versions of VirtualBox, and I'm sure any one of these may solve your problem in the crashing issues you may have. So let's go ahead and download our version of VirtualBox 4.3.20, and this will go according to the speed of your internet connection. Now when your VirtualBox has finished downloading, well, I'm using Google Chrome, you just have to right click on the icon you see at the bottom here, and you can click show in folder and continue the install from there, or you can just left click on it from right here in Chrome and then click on run, and here it's beginning to load, and here's the VirtualBox welcome screen. Go ahead and click on next, and these are all the USB support, networking and other peripherals VirtualBox will use from your main computer, which is the computer you're on now. And go ahead and click next, and I like to uncheck this one, create a shortcut in the quick launch bar. That's the bar at the bottom right hand corner here, which means every time Windows load, every time you start up Windows, VirtualBox will be running in your memory, and that could lead to slowing down of your computer, and again that will come down to how much RAM you have. So I have enough RAM, but I just like to uncheck it, and I will just take the shortcut on the desktop and register file associations. I'm going to click next, and here's a warning about the network interface. In some cases you may have to restart your computer, and it's telling you that your internet or your network connection will be temporarily disconnected from your network. So just going to click yes, then click install, once this pops up, let's go ahead and click yes. Now that has completed, and here you see checked off Start Oracle VM VirtualBox after installation. Go ahead and click Finish. And here VirtualBox starts automatically. And here you already see I have created some VMs. That's because I had VirtualBox installed earlier. I had already created these. So if you are installing VirtualBox for the first time, you would not see anything here in this section at all. So go ahead and to create a virtual machine for the first time, just go ahead and click on New. That's New for New Virtual Machine, and type the name of the operating system you would like. So in this case, let's start with let's say Windows Server 2008 2, and you can go ahead and select the version, and it's Windows 2008, so you can go ahead and click it here. And then as you can see, we have many different versions of Windows, so you select the one that suits the operating system you are going to install. And here you have the type, and in the type you have many different types of operating system. You even have Mac OS X, IBM OS 2, BSD, Solaris, Linux, but of course our type is Microsoft Windows, because Windows Server 2008 is made by Microsoft, as well as this Windows 7 and Windows XP. So for type, all of that will be under Microsoft Windows. And then you just go ahead and click Next. And here it allows you to select how much RAM you would like your virtual machine to use. Remember, please be careful when selecting the amount of RAM, because it is going to use from the actual RAM you have on your desktop. So if you only have 2 gigs of RAM and you select 1 gig, like I have done here, your actual computer would only have 1 gig for itself. It would no longer have 2, because while this server here is running in the VirtualBox, it's going to take up 1 gig of RAM inside here from your host computer out here. So your computer out here won't perform as fast, because the other gig is being used by your computer in here. So I'll just go ahead and click Next and create a virtual hard drive now. Go ahead and click Create, and VirtualBox will go ahead and leave this option here as default, hard drive file type. I'm going to click Next, and here they are giving us the option to dynamically allocate or select the fixed size option. I like to select the dynamically allocated, because as you add files and information to your server or Windows 7 or whatever you're setting up, the hard drive you created is going to grow on its own. Whereas if you just select a fixed size and you set a size, select for instance 10 gigs, no matter how much information you put in it, it will stay at 10 gigs. And if you fill it up, yes, it will eventually stop working properly. So go ahead and click on the dynamically allocated, so it will grow as you add. And again, I recommend that you have a large hard drive for this, preferably over 500 gigs. And then go to click next. And here the default size is 25 gigs, and I would leave that as is. I'm going to click create, and here is it. Here is your Windows Server 2008 Era 2 virtual machine that you have just created. So now, before we actually get into the actual settings of our Windows Server, I'm going to show you around VirtualBox here just a little. And here we have the File button. When you click on the File button, you can go into the Virtual Media Manager here, and immediately the hard drive tab opens up, and here you see the virtual size and the actual size. And like I said, it grows from the size you set it on initially, which is 25 gigs. When I set up this machine here, the cc.vdi, it was 25 gigs, now it's 32. And it says here the actual size is 8. And the same down here, we had set this at 25, but right now it's just taking up 2 megabytes. And as you can see, we have a remove and we have a release. So if you click on one, you can remove it. That's the if it's not being used. But if it's being used by VirtualBox, you can click release, and VirtualBox will release it. VirtualBox wouldn't be using it anymore, and then it will allow you to remove it. You can also copy the drives, modify them. This is the refresh list. This tab here is optical disks. Once you start using your virtual machine, the virtual disks will come up in this tab. And here you have one for floppy disks, which you might never use because floppy disks aren't really in use anymore. And I'm going to click close, and you can click on machine. You can create a new machine. You can even add an existing virtual machine, and you can also clone the virtual machine. You can remove it and delete its files completely, or just remove it from this column here at the side here and keep the files as backup if you want. And you can group, and this is to start the machine. This is to show a log of any errors or anything else like that. And we can go to the help button, and you can check for updates, check the version of VirtualBox, go through some network operations, and a whole lot of other options here, including a link straight to the VirtualBox website. So now, with my Windows Server 2008 Era 2 highlighted, I'm going to go to settings, and the general tab comes up immediately, and as you can see, the options are here that we selected earlier. And you can go to the advanced, and we will leave all this as is, and description, and we will go down to system. And as you can see, the amount of memory we selected earlier, we can always adjust this before we start up our virtual machine. And here is the floppy CD DVD, our boot order. You could select which boot device you would like to boot from first, and that includes the network card. Here is the processor. It has all the way up to four processors, but we leave all this at default. Acceleration, leave all this checked as default. And display shows you how much video memory you have available as well. And all these options you don't need to tamper with. And then we could go to storage. Now storage, you could add another ID controller, even a SATA controller for a hard drive or an optical disk. And okay, see, and it asks you to choose a disk. And let's just click cancel here. And you can even click on the drive here, and when you go on the little CD icon here, you can choose a virtual CD DVD disk file, or you can select the host drive D or the host drive E, whichever one your actual CD is in, or whichever one the actual ISO image is in. So you'll see me demonstrate use of this of these options in here a little later on in other tutorials. And as we go down, you can see audio, and then network. So here in the network tab, under the adapter 1 tab, you see we have attached to NOT. We want to leave this option selected, and then go to advanced and make sure that the Intel Pro 1000 MT desktop is selected as well. So this would allow us to connect with other virtual machines in our network that we are about to create, and the virtual machines will be able to continue with each other. So then, with all that selected, I would just want to click OK, and that's basically all I want to show you about the VirtualBox Manager. So when next we come back, you will see me booting and installing Windows Server 2008 R2, and even doing some installing and configuring, and as well with Windows 2008 and other operating systems.